Hey there, y'all, and welcome to today's Daily Down and Dirty. My name is Fairlight. Welcome to Airy Fairy Tarot. All right, y'all, the message today, when I saw two of the cards come out, I heard that Doors song, "This is the end, my only friend, the end." And I was like looking at the cards and I'm like, well, that's not really what I see. But then it was insistent. That song just kept singing. So I'm like, okay, that's what the message is. This is the end. My only friend, the end. The two cards that I saw that, imparted that message for the most part is this card number 24, Major Arcana reversed, which in this deck, it signifies the world. It is the last card of the Major Arcana in this deck, not number 21, but number 24. And you see, in a Native American tradition, the earth is born on the back of a turtle or a tortoise. And here is this earth angel along with a wolf and a blue heron riding on the back of this turtle. And here's this whole, road of light that they've been traveling. So that's reversed with a little spread. And then there's the 10 of fire reversed with another card that I'll get into in a minute. So both of these reversals where conclusions are, it's like things are coming into conclusion. It's like you're in the last, the last part of the race home or something like that. So things are coming to a conclusion. I don't think you've quite gotten there yet, but there's definitely some recognition of truth that wants to be had. And then above that, I thought I was just going to have one card, kind of what I call overlighting the reading. There's actually three cards, but the one I want to point out right now is this Mother of the Water upright. So just talking about her, she's got the moon at her crown, and it's the triple moon, so it's a very strong goddess, maiden, mother, crone type of energy, the different initiatory phases of the divine feminine, and that heart at her third eye. So it is having a vision of love, or having a loving vision of the direction you move towards. And that's not even quite what I want to say, but there is something about seeing through the eyes of love. That's a better way. Seeing through the eyes of love, envisioning yourself through the eyes of love. And while I want to speak about like some sort of future timeline, there's also a strong energy of the present, the here and now, the ever eternal present here and now. There's more to this card. There's so much more to this card, but it's her horns that also really catch my eye. Horns and antlers, antenna, they all represent, receivers of divine knowledge. And so there is something about having a vision of yourself and a vision of your life, and receiving divine visions, divine guidance, and seeing life through the eyes of love. And so it kind of speaks through something about with that water energy too. Water energy does speak of psychic abilities, but it's really utilizing emotion. I love how people like to say emotion is energy in motion. And so how do we harness that energy? Emotions are signposts, and so often we allow our emotions to move into our minds to create stories, and then we're creating reality through that. But if we can stay in that ever present and stay in a vibration of love, then we can receive our emotions and allow them to show us what we're tuning into and how we can lovingly bring ourselves back into empowered energy in motion. So I want to go to this this world reversed card. Again, this upright, this would indicate closing out major cycles. Reversed, it would indicate closing out major cycles, but maybe we need to recognize our own patterns. And I'm hearing the word like enabling. So are we enabling others to impress their patterns on us? Imprint, or whatever words want to come through, are we allowing others kind of to dictate us not closing out old cycles because maybe there's like a codependency sort of thing. It's feeling that way very strongly. And then when I look at the next three cards, we've got the 12 of air, which is the father of air. We've got the 7 of air, which to me, I just always call this the fanatic. And then we've got the crone, major arcana number 6 in this deck, reversed. And so it really feels like there's a strong denial of feminine wisdom. And with this fanatic card, and can't help but notice that he is blindly clinging to this book here, and I think we know what that's about. So when talking about this is the end and cycles not closing out, and then this fanatic, and then this father card, it just really kind of looks like, if we were in a general sense talking about patriarchy clinging to control through mind control, utilizing people's spiritual beliefs and not allowing divine feminine wisdom to come through. And that's so much of what is our society is starved for. Our world is starved for feminine wisdom, for the love of the mother. There's been so much mistreatment of our planet. There's been so much mistreatment of the feminine. There's been so much mistreatment of the masculine because a lack of this divine feminine wisdom. And yeah, I'm preaching, but here it is. So it does kind of feel like taking your power back from indoctrinated belief systems. And, in my personal conversations that I've had, I've been hearing stories of people being afraid to come out of the broom closet. So while some of us are embracing our own personal spirituality, whether that's through the lens of witchcraft or through some lens of paganism or whatever natural connection, or it does feel more spiritual. So I can acknowledge atheism too. It's like whatever is your bent. I've kind of noticed though, atheists are a bit stronger than a lot of like witches, as far as coming out of the closet with people who embrace spirituality. And so I'm just kind of channeling right now. So I'm like, whoa, did I mean to say that? But I said it. So that it seems to be easier for some people to say it's all made up, it's all bullshit, than it is for some people to say there is a divinity, but it's not what you think it is, because there's so much persecution that comes in with being a spiritual person who doesn't fear and obey the way the fanatics have forced on people for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So, dang. So, it does feel like that is part of the end, is standing in your truth. Now, if you embrace these things wholeheartedly, I guess I just feel like, because I don't want to ignore this crone reversed, and again, this mother energy with the moon at her crown, all of this feminine wisdom, it just really does kind of look at, this is strongly encouraging everybody, regardless of what gender you are or anything to do with that. It really goes into the core of what do you embrace about yourself first and foremost, and then how do you connect. And I did an oracle reading today that was so much about spending time with Mama Nature, as it called it, Mama Nature, and reconnecting with the magic that's within yourself and the magic that's available to you all around. And so that just kind of seems to be the message of the day. There is so much magic. Magic is everywhere. And even with, fanatical religions and whatever, there's still a lot of magic pervade through that. If you've ever been to like a Catholic service, and if you know how to recognize magic, it's all magic. But is it conveying a personal connection? And in some ways it is. I watched my dad at church. I watched him feel that divine connection. but then there's just so much, it's packaged in, yes, this connection is real, but it's not you. And that's where, there's, it's a darkness put on you about the truth of who you are. So it really kind of feels like embracing greater depths of yourself and not being afraid to go into the darkness and connect with that innate divine feminine wisdom. And so then we come over here to this 10 of fire reversed and this 14 of air. And it's interesting how, this person, this masculine, looks so much older than this, and this is more of an androgynous. But I think this is usually more of like a masculine sage energy, where this is more of a father kind of energy. And I don't know why I even feel like I have to make the distinction. It's just the way these cards work. But again, this is more androgynous. So I love, in the upright, this is a very wise being. I don't acknowledge the wisdom as much because it's tied up into this fanaticism. And so we can take the divine sacred truths that we've received and recognize, but we're allowed to receive greater truths. I love that he's got the ibis down here with this bee at his throat. And the ibis, is connected to the Egyptian god Thoth, who is an ancient messenger. They say he may be older than time itself. And bringing in the original magic, the original messages. And bees, represent many things, but bees can represent community. Bees represent happiness, the honey of life. And there's something about the magic, the words, the wisdom that he's sharing, where this bee is connected to that. And so it does kind of feel like almost asking, what are you serving at this time and why? And so, man, I didn't know this reading was going to be so it almost feels a little controversial, but whatever. But it is kind of like looking at world events right now, and I don't always like to talk about that because I want to talk about personal empowerment. But, looking at world events right now and looking at, fanatical religious people and how there seems to be a lot of prejudice and bigotry, and what is that really serving? And, probably if you're watching this video, you're not really embracing that sort of thing. And I'm definitely not trying to create a greater division. It's more about this is the end. And so I think it's more about speaking the truth of what you're committed to, and maybe not being afraid to just call truth to certain behaviors and actions and whatever that's being spewed. It almost kind of feels like it is time to come out of the broom closet if you haven't already, or it feels like it's time now to create your world with yourself in mind as someone who has the power to create a difference. Dang, I never know what's going to come through in a reading. You are someone with a great wisdom, and whether, you embody the feminine wisdom, or you embody a masculine wisdom, or you embody a balance of both, ideally embodying the balance of both. There's something about a connection to the natural world and your ability to navigate, see things in the dark. And it kind of feels like, because of that fanatical energy, it's like keeping people in the dark about their own divinity inherently within, and recognizing the mechanisms used to manipulate people into fear-based belief systems to where they just give their power away. And so calling it out in a way, there's something again about navigating the darkness and using this logical wisdom, because this being is very much about logic, as is this one, and also intuition. It's air energy, and air is so much about logic. It's about communication, it's about fairness and justice, it's about beliefs, it's about truth. Beliefs don't always represent ultimate truth, or truth, can be subjective. But it is about balance, it's about intuition, and I do feel like there's something about seeing through the darkness, seeing the shadows that wrap around certain truths. And so it's like delivering a truth but packaged in a lie. And so because the truth is the core of it, people digest it and they believe the lie along with it must be true because that truth is there. And so there's something about you being able to separate the lies from the truth and having an ability to communicate that in a way that people can't unsee it once you reveal it to them. And so with that, it's like stepping into this sage energy. And there's something about, it's funny, the feathers on the wings of this fanatic, that like angelic energy can be a real thing, but somehow there's been an illusion, it's been cloaked in darkness, so that people aren't able to see the totality of the truth of their own divine nature. And then the feathers move to the eyes and the ears of this father energy. And so again, feathers representing that air energy, something about communication with the natural world, something about messages being delivered. And then the feathers are just coming out of the eyes of this being. I don't know what it is about feathers. Maybe keep an eye open if you find feathers when you're walking, or you see a picture of a feather. Pay attention to what is happening at that moment, what's being said, what you're noticing, maybe what you're feeling on the inside. Whatever it is, it feels very strongly. And it's so funny, as I look down, here's these cards with feathers, and then here is this bone made into a feather. So I don't know, feathers could be very, very important right now. I feel like your guides could really be communicating with you, and when you see a feather, pay attention. But something about feathers coming out of the eyes, it feels like giving flight to your vision. I don't know if that's right, but something about expressing what it is that you see is going to, I don't know, kind of, it helps to open other people's eyes. Maybe there's a gentleness or a softness about the way that you speak truth that the blocks others have been experiencing because of this energy being so present in their belief systems. But somehow it feels like you have the ability, not that you're here to save anybody. You're not here to save anyone. And if there are people that are clinging so tightly to their beliefs, it's not up to you to change people's minds. It's really not. If at the end of the day you walk away and the only one really holding this truth that you've opened your eyes to is you, that is enough. So you're not here to save anybody. You're not here to change people. I really want to make that an important statement. But at the same time, it does kind of feel like you are stepping into this like holy presence, and for you to accept that you are a truth sayer, and there's something about being true to yourself, and it feels like there are people who might be willing to step into their own divinity because of the light that you embody. And so there's something about with this that you're still closing out cycles within yourself. So maybe there's just in conversations, it's just a totally personal journey. And at the end of the day, you're not changing anybody else's mind, and it's okay. It's not really about that. It's very much about you allowing yourself to close out old cycles. Tens indicate the completion of a cycle, and I've been feeling really drawn to the X's when I'm using this deck. The 10 is an X, and so it's like coming to a crossroads within yourself. And so with this fire, it's like allowing yourself to burn off the weight of the world, allowing yourself to burn off carrying the beliefs of others or beliefs that just don't really serve who you are. And as you burn away the illusions of material realities, you're able to connect to that divinity within and all of this illumination and connection to your body. And I think that really conveys, again, this greater connection to your own activations of your own psychic energies that travel through your own body. So you might also be experiencing not only a greater clairvoyance, but a greater clairsentience, where you feel truth in your body. If somebody lies to you, maybe you feel that something drop in your gut. Or if somebody speaks the truth, or if you feel the presence of an ancestor or an angel or a fairy or something, you feel tingles on your skin or a ripple down your spine or something like that. Pay attention to those things. Or you start hearing messages, something like that, that really connect with your heart energy, and it makes a lot of sense. So then we come back to this mother of the water, and then next to her is the 9 of earth reversed and the 7 of water also reversed. So then we come back to this divine feminine knowing, connecting to your emotions. If you, throughout your life, maybe you've been shut down by your family members or whoever in your life, in your community, your feelings have been shut down. I wonder if you've always carried a very strong presence throughout your life, and it kind of feels like a sun reversed kind of energy, where maybe you're actually a very brilliant person and you shine a very bright light, and because of that, people have always wanted to dominate you, or maybe they felt insecure in your presence and they've made you feel bad, like, how dare you shine so brightly, you're always making it about you, or you're always, and maybe you're really not doing that, you're just being an authentic person, and that makes you shine brightly. You can't help but be yourself, while everybody else is in the shadows of conformity. And so this is time, maybe you've been kind of shoved in that closet of conformity, but it never really fit, and no matter how much they tried to shove you in that closet, you just couldn't help but shine that light. So now it kind of feels like allowing that illumination to come through. And there's also a strong, because the moon is so present in this strong sense of reflection. So you might be a strong mirror for others, and people might really resent you for that. If you've ever heard of a heyoka, it's a type of empath that is the sacred clown. And it's almost like, without even realizing what you're doing, you personify the things that people deny most about themselves. And so they often might project a lot of hate onto you, and you may not even know why you do or say the things that you do, but really that's just what you're doing. You're empathically revealing to others what they need to integrate. Well, first look at about themselves, accept it, and then integrate it. So again, I never know what's going to come through. So something about that 9 of Pentacles, that 9 of Earth being reversed, about how maybe you, because you are a loving, generous, and nurturing person, maybe you tend to water everybody else's seeds and everybody else's garden. And then people, don't understand why you're not flourishing and thriving more, but it's because they want you to water their garden, and they want you to set up your garden exactly the way they've been told to set up their gardens, and your seeds just don't grow that way. Maybe you're a little bit more wild, or maybe you need to grow something else. Whatever it is, it feels like, and with the 7 of water, it's like maybe you feel like you haven't been allowed to look at your true desires. And so it's felt like you've been limited in what's available to you. So if we turn these 2 cards right side up, This is more about recognizing what truly is fulfilling for you, not letting others decide and dictate to you and dominate your path and your decisions and tell you this is what's fulfilling for everybody, and this is exactly the way you have to find fulfillment. And maybe that just has never worked for you. And so that's why you haven't really been able to thrive. And so, or maybe because even if you have gone after what was fulfilling, it's almost like, okay, I'm choosing what I'm fulfilling, but now I need to prove to everybody why this is fulfilling for me. And while you're still trying to fill everybody else's cup, trying to find validation through their lens, even though you're somewhat being true to yourself. So now it just feels like now it's time to fully break free. It's time to bring closure to that and maybe accept that you're never going to get their approval. And you're just not going to do it the way that they want you to do it. And so stop draining yourself into their, cups, trying to be seen by them, because they'll just toss it out and say, nope, I'm still empty. I'm not going to, they might be determined not to be fulfilled by your truth. And it's not for you to fulfill them. And it's not for you to convince them. It's for you to discern what is most fulfilling for you to decide what you're most passionate about and excited about, and to release that to the universe and start just really nurturing, cultivating, nourishing, investing in your garden, truly investing in you. So right now it's a strong message of this is the end when you decide to prioritize your truth, your goals, your values, that which you most truly would like to take root in your life, and that which you would most like to see blossom in your life, because full on it's you, coming from your heart, coming from your vision, looking through the eyes of love at you and seeing you in the fullness of the light. And that's all you really need. And whether others ever come around and see it or they don't, it doesn't matter. It's about you fulfilling your dreams, you investing in yourself, you knowing your self-worth, and and allowing the cycles to bring you ever more into that fruition. All right. Yeah, like I said, I never know what's going to come through in a reading. That's all I have for today. Once again, my name is Fairlight. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like a palm reading, tarot reading, or astrology reading from me, you can find that link either in the comments section or the bio or somewhere, or just hit me up directly. All right. That's all I have for today. Peace and love until next time.